Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to our weekly immigration podcast. As an immigration law firm, we follow the news and we give you this short podcast which covers immigration news in the United States for the week. Today we're going to talk about 5 or 6 different things that have happened with the immigration news. First, we've got what's called prosecutorial discretion under Biden. It's about court cases in the immigration system. We have the Title 42 restrictions which have been changed. We'll update you on that. We've also got new premium processing regulations. I'll explain what that means and tell you a little bit more about what that means to you guys with cases that are pending. We've also got some USCIS announcements that they're trying to change their backlogs, which they have across the board. And finally, we've got a little graphic for you talking about the budget and how we can see things affecting immigration over the next year. As always, we wrap it up with a couple questions from you guys out there. So tune in and here we go. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is a group called Hidden Dreams. Hidden Dreams is actually a group of documented dreamers that help out that community. We're very lucky we got invited to speak with them, and we had a little seminar, got to talk to some students and listen to some of the things they were going through. The documented dreamers are an emerging group that are literally a group of people who are being left behind, okay? Legal immigrants who came on visas but are ending up being left behind and out of the immigration system because there are backlogs that take 6, 7, 8, 10 years. During that time, these young people who grew up here, some of them spending more than 5 or 10 years in the United States, end up out of status or having to switch to a student visa. The documented dreamers are an ongoing group of people who are kind of suffering under U.S. policies, and the Hidden Dreams group are really, really great. So I want to give a shout out to them. We'll put some links in below. If you are, in this group of people, check out the group. They're very helpful. They've got lots of resources. They help people out in that community. And I wanted to give a quick shout out to Sumana and the group at Hidden Dreams. All right. So first thing is an announcement from the Biden administration that they are looking to close cases, okay, through a process called prosecutorial discretion in the immigration system. That means a lot of cases in immigration end up in court. And these court cases oftentimes have a future where there's a family member or something where there's a green card. But that green card isn't tomorrow or the next day, but a year, 2 years, 3 years down the road, again, because of immigration backlogs. What's happened in the past under Obama and under Bush was the idea of something called prosecutorial discretion. Prosecutorial discretion was the prosecutors, right, from Homeland Security, I used to do that, get to decide, hey, look, this guy's not a criminal. I can see here that his wife's a citizen. I can see here that she filed a case. And I can see he has a green card coming in the future. It allows them to just take that case and put it on the shelf and close it. It's called administrative closure. Nothing is lost in this process. In fact, prosecutors, whose job it is to enforce immigration laws, can actually just go get that case again off the shelf, give it to the judge, and say, Judge, we want to keep prosecuting this client, or we want to deport this client, or remove it is what we say now in the law. So prosecutorial discretion doesn't lose anything. It's simply a way to use the resources properly, recognize when a case has a different outcome that's not a deportation, and then use government resources, including court time, in a wise way. It's just an idea that our government should be spending the money, the taxpayers' money, in a way that gets a desired outcome that makes sense and not wasting time. So the Biden administration announced that they'll be trying to cut the backlog in courts by engaging in prosecutorial discretion, by eliminating cases that don't deserve to be deported, and sometimes even moving those cases off to a new track where they can go ahead and get a green card. It's actually the news we've been waiting for because we've existed under prosecutorial discretion for a very long time. I know that was really long, but there's a lot to say about PD. If you've got a case in the court system, definitely talk to your attorney about the prospect of prosecutorial discretion. All right, we got news here about Title 42. Title 42 was a restriction that actually came out of COVID. Essentially, the CDC said there's the free exchange of individuals that cross the border without any checkpoint, meaning they didn't come through a government checkpoint. That was dangerous to public health. And under Title 42, the Trump administration closed the border. Now, the Biden administration continued that process and, in fact, turned away asylum seekers using Title 42. It looks like the CDC director, Ms. Rochelle Walensky, recently wrote that the border has ceased to be a serious danger to public health. Okay, so based upon that, they're going to be getting rid of Title 42. And I'm just going to point out to you guys, it was very, very controversial because essentially, as you can see from last week, they would turn away Mexican families but let Ukrainian families in. You know, our government at the border, they just don't have a policy. It doesn't matter who the president is. They're just making things up as they go along. And Title 42, in my eyes, was just another way to solve a problem temporarily rather than actually look at the causes and effects and come up with good policy. Immigration, the politics of immigration is really one of the things that has really caused a problem. Politicians are loath to actually take a stand and do something other than just sound off politically about harsh realities that they wish they could impose to appease a base that's possibly not making a lot of sense. Our next story is about the expansion to premium processing. Now, if you don't know what that means, immigration has a whole process where people who apply for visas and other things, they don't want to wait 6 months or 12 months or a year. And a lot of businesses are like, I want to hire this guy. I want to get him in. And right now, some H-1Bs can take 6 months. So what they have on that side of the coin is something called premium processing. All right, premium processing means you'll get an answer in 15 days. That's it. In, out, or an RFE. Now, it's a little bit cynical here because premium processing used to be something that cost about $1,000, $1,200. It's now something like $2,500. And if you pay this fee on premium processing, your case moves to what's called a premium processing unit and will get decided in 15 days. So USCIS announced recently, that they'll expand premium processing to include I-539s, I-765s, and I-140s. All right, now here's a bit of cynicism. Immigration on their own has ended up with massive backlogs in both the I-539, which is the change of status from, for example, an F1 to a B1 to an F1, or to any other dependent status, a change of status. They've also had that a delay in the I-765, which is the work permit, where people are waiting 13 months to get work permits. So for me, while I'm happy that my clients have opportunities or options if they're waiting 13 months to get to student status and from a tourist visa or an H-1B to a student visa, and they find that they can pay premium processing and get it paid and go to school, they're going to do it. I love it. I love opportunities for my clients. And my clients, I'm sure, will echo that. But I do have to stand up and say that it's a little bit cynical in the sense that immigration created this problem. And instead of having a 90-day work permit, which was what we used to have, it is now a year. And if you want your case done in less than a year, which is only normal, go pay $2,500. And I don't really think that embodies the way we should look at our government. Our government isn't, we already have fees. We already pay them to do what they're doing. In fact, USCIS is fully funded, 100% funded on their fees. When government shutdowns come, USCIS doesn't shut down. ICE might or some other place might, but USCIS doesn't because they're funded based on their fees. It's a way for the government to make more money. So I know that sounds cynical, but I don't believe that we always see the best out of our government, and especially out of DHS and immigration. So good opportunity for my clients. I applaud it. Hey, but maybe make the fee a little bit lower. Maybe make it $1,000. I mean, $2,500 for a case that normally costs something in the range of $290. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. That's 10 times the cost of the actual case. So, you can't help but be a little cynical about what you see there. And I know I'm sounding off for a while on this, but I want you guys to know that the government is giving you a benefit, and we will be, lobbying for them to reduce that cost, to do something more about that. The Biden administration did announce that they're looking at reducing backlogs, and this is something we talked about a little bit recently. One of the ways is this premium processing, but the other way is to hire new staff. One of the things we looked at was how the government slowdown occurred. A lot of it was COVID, a lot of it was Trump. But at this point, the government is now implementing a change. How do we move things faster? How do we get rid of backlogs? How do we go back to a better new normal? The problem I think we have is that under Trump, all these delays happened and the new normal came into effect, and Biden's been here almost 2 years now, or I guess it's been 2 years, and we just have the same normal. The new normal, long time. So, this is a step in the right direction by Biden administration to, expanding premium processing, automatic extension of EADs. We talked about that as one way. And they're also opening up other groups like healthcare workers and childcare workers can get premium processing. So some of these things are good steps that come from the right place, but we definitely want to see a return to something that's just more humane and livable 13 months without work, it's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, we've got a little graphic for you. Check it out. What we've got here is the Biden proposed fiscal year budget for 2023 as it relates to immigration. As you can see, 6 quick points there. 25 reduction in permanent processing by fewer detention centers. That's great. That means more people getting out on bond, getting opportunities to work, do other things, be with their families. They're looking at applying money to backlogs and processing delays. You know, that means they're going to be opening specific offices to handle specific things. One thing I can point out to you would be that during the Trump administration, we used to have an outside company handling the actual production of work permits. Well, that contract was canceled. I can see the Biden administration going back and opening up some of those outside contracts, getting those things done. Family Reunification Task Force, $20 million for that, and that's actually a very big deal. You know, there were kids separated from their families, and that's a wrong that needs to be righted. $987 million to address the root cause of migration, investing in Central American countries. I'm going to leave that one up out there in the open. That's actually a very big idea here. One of the things immigration has to deal with is the push and pull factors. How do people come to the United States? Why? Some people are pushed out of where they are because they don't like it. They're afraid. There's things that make their countries unlivable. Well, foreign aid to those countries actually works. And in fact, TPS, which is a program that's in immigration, has been shown to be a huge source of foreign aid for El Salvador. So when I see the U.S. looking at some of the push factors rather than the pull factors, I think that's actually really, really, really important. All right, $1.4 billion for the EOIR backlog. That's going to be good, hiring more judges and looking at how those cases can be reduced. And we're looking at, finally, Border Protection. They're actually hiring more staff. Well, it's a good thing to see new changes to immigration. The Trump administration tried to close immigration and mess it up. I'm hopeful Biden administration can make some changes, move things forward. All right, folks, wrapping it up with a couple questions from you guys. Let's hit them off. Here we go. Hi, I came here on an F1 visa about 7 years ago, never out of status, just transitioned to H1B. Is it safe for me to go back for visa stamping? Absolutely yes. If you're in status on F1, you never dropped out of status, you continue your program, you did your OPT, your STEM OPT, go for stamping, you should be fine. Just keep in mind, you want to be able to explain if your 7 years was a lot longer than normal or outside the ordinary. Now, if you did 4 years and then 3 years of STEM OPT, OPT plus STEM OPT, I think you're going to be okay with that. That should not be a problem at all. It would just be if you changed your program a lot of times or something happened that caused a delay or you went out of status or back in status. You should be able to explain that and just make sure the consular officer knows what you're talking about. I always recommend to clients, always have a 1 to 2 sentence answer ready, like, yes, well, I took a little longer because blank. And then you can have more details later if necessary. Keep that in mind at your consulate interview. All right, another question. If I got married abroad, which visa process would we go through? Hey, thanks a lot. That's pretty simple. If you're married to an American citizen, you're going to go through either a K3 visa, which is a half a case, then a visa, which allows you to come to the United States, or you're going to go through the full consular process, which is you file a green card request and you do your interview and everything else right there at the consulate, interview, get your visa, and you come to the United States, okay? Those are pretty simple. If you made it to the end, we really, really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe and the thumbs up button, and we'd love it if you leave a question for us below. We answer questions all the time, and in fact, we're going to be transitioning to a live stream eventually. It's coming out soon, where we're going to do all of our free consults through a live stream. These are some of the ways we look to help you guys out and be there for you, because our content is really made for free for everybody to learn and come check in so they have information and the tools they need to make sure they stay in status or do the right thing with immigration. Pass this video on to others, and of course, tell us that you love us. We love it in the comments. All right. Take care. Bye.